Hi, everyone. Welcome to Beyond Barnard's Career Skills Introduction Series. I'll be here to go over some interview best practices. So, here at Beyond Barnard, you can get support for a lot of things, ranging from career development to funding for internships, campus roles, fellowships, applications to graduate and professional schools. And we have a lot of really impressive figures here at Beyond Barnard. Over 75% of Barnard students have completed at least one internship. We have over 4,000 students and alumni registrants for virtual mentoring, so you have a lot of resources. We have a 91% placement rate from 2018 to 2023, and a bunch of other really impressive statistics that you can be a part of once you come visit us. But for this career skills introduction series, today we'll be focusing on interviews. We'll be going over articulate fit, planning, live performance, and then some follow-up questions and things like that. So by the end of this presentation, you should be able to plan effective answers to a range of these interview questions, creating an answer to tell me about yourself that actually resonates with the hiring manager, and crafting responses to the most common interview questions based on your unique story from your experiences and skills. So some really common misconceptions. Interviews are all about assessing the qualifications that you have listed on your resume, but interviews are objective evaluations of your value as a candidate. Not passing an interview round means that you messed up or you're X type of person. Therefore, you need to pretend you're not in an interview just to land the role. These are some very common misconceptions. But today we'll be focusing on what do you actually do during the interview? What is the interview? And how to most effectively approach that. So, what is an interview? It's basically the hiring team's chance to get to know you. It's an evaluation of fit rather than looking at your qualifications. If you've landed the interview, it means that you do meet the basic qualifications. So don't worry on that front. They just want to see that you are, you as an individual, and it's a chance for them to model oral and extemporaneous communication. And at the end of the day, like it's an experience that draws on the same skills as you would a seminar here at Barnard. So some practices for this, uh, preparation is key. So you do need to have questions about the internship. Show that you've done your due diligence. I mean, that reflects demonstrated interest, and it never hurts to have that. Do your research on your interviewers. You never know if you have something in common with them, and it could open up the conversation to a lot of really fun things. Make sure that, your Zoom setup is all set. Arrive early, but just know that for all interviews, whether it's in person or on Zoom, nerves are normal. And it's important to right size the stakes. Just practice, do what you can to make yourself comfortable, and go into this knowing that you have more control than you think. Sorry, I need a second. If we can cut this part out, that would be great. Oh my God, I feel terrible. Ugh. Okay. So, as I alluded to before, we have a couple of variations in terms of themes. So, you have phone calls, right? These are very slow. Make sure you have succinct, short answers that are still compelling, and stand for them if you're able to. It's just going to be a typical phone call. You have your Zoom interviews, so they're seeing you, right? And you want to make sure that you're reflecting yourself physically, but also your background is going to be a reflection of who you are. If you have a messy background and you didn't take the time to clean it up, they're going to assume that you're not that serious about the interview. So make sure that you really do think about the setup, how you're presenting yourself visibly, and always maintain eye contact. When it comes to super days, as someone who's undergone quite a few, think of these more so as marathons, right? They're not sprints. Learn to forget each interviewer is going to be different. Each interview is going to assess different skills. And just know that once you've made it to the super day, you are qualified. Again, they just want to see you for who you are. when it comes to more technical interviews and case interviews, don't under prep the behavioral questions. It's very easy to forget that aspect and you're just focusing on the casing, but make sure that you have the behavioral as well. These are of utmost importance. Second for this too. So preparing for the two of the most common questions. So two places where candidates tend to underprepare or misprepare, and where a different approach has the most marginal benefit. And one fundamental piece of advice, always bring your answers back to your candidacy, right? You uniquely as a candidate in the role or the organization. You really want to ensure that you're making that connection. So, the classic question, tell me about yourself. It's always great to start off with a lot of gratitude and enthusiasm for this opportunity. Make a claim, a main claim about your candidacy and why you specifically, as a candidate, are excited about the role and what drew you to it. You should give roughly two examples from your experiences. Um, but yeah, I'll stop there. Happy to go into other details later. Um, but make sure that you repeat gratitude and express excitement for their questions. And just know that it's not about you, but more so about the version of you that will come to work every single day. And when they ask you the question of, so, do you have any questions for us? Here's a couple of structures that you could try, mainly this one about um, here's something about me that I haven't said yet, or here's a reminder of something essential about my candidacy. And as a result of that, here's why my question matters to me. Here's the question. So you're helping them kind of understand something more about you and or about why you're asking that question. So the classic STAR method, many of my appointments, I've walked you through this a lot of times. It's a tried and true approach, truly works often, not always, but better safe than sorry, and it's always good to practice it. So your S is going to be your situation, T is task, so what you uniquely did. Action is A, action that you undertook within the T task to address S, situation. R is going to be your result. And so there are a couple of variations to this. Just make sure that you're leading with a main claim, that you're acknowledging and reframing the significance, that you're asking for their perspective, and a couple of examples first. And if you don't know, you can always say, that's such a great question. Allow me to think for a moment, and then show a very methodical and thoroughly thought out answer to that. I need a second here too. Sorry. Okay. So think to yourself, why are they asking this question, right? They'll ask you a question, but you need to take a moment to reflect on what the intention behind that question is. So consider what they're trying to get at with some common questions. Some common ones are going to be strengths and weaknesses, a time you led a team to a successful outcome, who are you on a team, and why do you want to work here? These are getting at a couple of different things. So strengths and weaknesses, it's not just that. They want to see that you're introspective. And when it comes to the weaknesses, they want to see that you're undertaking actions to address them, that you have things in place to ensure that those solutions are sustainable, things like that. So here are a couple tactical next steps. Practice talking about yourself and your interests with someone outside a mock interview. So this just helps you get a better understanding of how you can like best reflect yourself in the interview. And sometimes it does reveal a couple of gaps in terms of how you're framing things, and it just helps you get a better understanding of who you are, right? So think of if you were studying and you're explaining this topic to someone who has zero relation to whatever you're studying. It helps you kind of teach yourself more about the content more in depth. So strongly encourage this one. Use best practices on networking, community building to do informational interviews with alums and others so that you're ready for the application processes. This one's also incredibly important. A couple other next steps include creating some star stories from your experiences that are portable to multiple questions. I think this one is the most efficient. You have something in place that you can just mold last minute if you need to, but you at least you have that framework and the foundation to go into it in a succinct and rehearsed, but not to a T, not verbatim. Don't make it come across very robotic. Um, Response. Finally, you can schedule an appointment with a peer career advisor, such as myself, or staff member to prep for interviews before the schedules. And it's never too early to start prepping for interviewers. The more time you have, the better, and the more practice you get in, the better. So it can't hurt. And finally, tell a friend about this presentation and be an advocate for using Beyond Barnard because we have a lot of great resources that we're looking forward to sharing with you guys. And yeah, so that's it. I would open it up to questions, but given that this is a recording, can't really do that. But thank you guys so much for watching and make sure to follow us on Instagram, subscribe on YouTube, and book your appointment with a PCA. We're excited to help you guys. Have a good one.